Jason says we're good, so let's start this, all right? Jason is such a good guy. I was having a really crappy day and he got here and it's all been better. And then I'm drinking bourbon too, so that helps. Hello friends, welcome to the next episode of Blossom and Bourbon. My name is Mark, I'm the owner here at Creative Occasions. It's a pleasure to welcome you to my workroom. For this episode, I want to show you a design that we have done before for parties and events here. It's really kind of cool because the arrangement is actually on the outside of the container, which is kind of fun. But maybe even better than that, we're going to be tasting this JT Meleck, I hope I'm saying that name correct, Louisiana rice whiskey. So recently I had the privilege of going back to New Orleans with some friends, Dean and Ann Cranwell, Anthony Connor, Joe and Kathy Gamble, some of whom have been here in the Peanut Gallery for our episodes before. And Dean and Ann on their way home, I said, I haven't had a chance to go to the liquor store, but I would like to find a specific bourbon that's distilled in Louisiana. Dean found this for me, brought it back. It is rice. It's 100% rice mash bill. It is actually aged in American oak barrels. So that's where some of the characteristics of the whiskey come from. So I'm quite anxious to taste this and see what it's like. Dean, man, I appreciate you, buddy. Thank you so much for not only picking this up for me, but for being such a good guy. Dean and Ann lived in the area of New Orleans for a number of years, and so when we go down there, they're our tour guides. They take care of everything. So JT Meleck, let's see what this is like. Good color. It has a great color, first of all. This distillery actually, I read, distilled vodka first using rice, and then they went to bourbon. So that's weird. I would not have expected the normal vanilla caramel kind of flavors on the nose, but it definitely has that. Sake is made with rice, exactly. And in fact, one of the reviews I read said that they expected this to taste a lot like some of the other Japanese whiskeys that they had tried that had a rice influence. This is really very good. There's a little bit of more sort of tropical fruit, like coconut or something in it, like banana or something. I'm gonna have to have more to figure that out. Yeah, definitely some butterscotch, some cinnamon, as you would expect, some cloves, allspice. Yeah, this is really very good. Dean, you're gonna have to come over and try this now, okay? I appreciate your help with that. All right, so for the arrangement, let me show you about the mechanics. First of all, how we do the mechanics is you take the container. This is just a demo that I want to show you how the mechanics work. I have another one prepped that we're going to actually make the design with. But because you can use duct tape, and duct tape will hold with pan glue. Pan glue is something that we use in the floral industry all the time. It's great for silk arrangements, but it's also great for adhering fresh Oasis foam, which this is, but it's dry, to the duct tape. So what we would do in this case is figure out where you want the arrangement to be. You would put the duct tape there, then you would take the dry Oasis foam, dip it into the pan glue. You don't want it to be crazy hot and liquidy, a little tacky and not quite as hot as preferable. And you just stick that up next to and hold it onto the duct tape. The beauty of this is the duct tape will peel off the glass. When it peels off the glass, it'll bring the arrangement right off with it. And then the glass stays just like it is. Okay, so you have not affected your glass at all with this. So that's how that process works. Here's the one that I have processed. It's a little bigger and a little more dramatic, of course, for this arrangement. Because I know we're going to be putting a lot of stems in this, I also put a little cage of chicken wire over it just to kind of stabilize the Oasis some, because the Oasis tends to crumble. We're going to have a lot of pressure and a lot of stems on this that's hanging on the outside of this vase. And so I wanted to try to give it as much security as I could. So that's why I used the chicken wire there. And then I've used the Oasis tape over the chicken wire to kind of hold that in place. Okay, so beautiful pink, fuchsia, purple colors we're going to be working with here. And let me just show you how this works. So we're going to basically take this flower. I'm going to put my hand under the Oasis to kind of support it, and then just push it in just like we would with any other floral foam arrangement, okay? I'm going to move this one in the opposite direction. So you can see I'm already kind of creating a sort of a crescent line with that, and it's holding beautifully in that foam. The foam is going to give it moisture that it needs to keep the flowers hydrated. In this case, I would definitely suggest that you not make this arrangement until the day of your event, if you're doing this for an event work, because there's a limited amount of water that's going to be available to the flowers in this foam. So I'm using stock in both sort of a deep purple and this kind of magenta color, which is really, really beautiful. And again, I'm just kind of emphasizing the line of that crescent, but I'm also pulling this one out a little bit toward the front to give it a little more depth. Got one more stock. Where should that go? Why not? Let's make it tall, right? Okay. All right, so you can see we're working on something that's going to be really pretty dramatic here, right? I've got some tulips, I've got Gerber daisies, spray roses, these beautiful little daisies. I don't know what variety this is, but it has sort of a little blushy lavender color on the stem. Let's get some tulips in there because they're already curved and they're just begging to be in this arrangement, all right? Now, if you are doing this arrangement the day before your event, remember, tulips do grow in length. So they're going to change the way that they look between the time that you put them in when you're designing this and when you set this out on your table for your guests to see. So just keep that in mind, that that's something you have to deal with tulips. You'll also note, and I didn't say this, so let me just backtrack a little bit. After the dried Oasis is on the glass with the glue, I basically just take a watering can and drizzled water over the foam so that it was nice and hydrated, okay? And as we're pushing flowers into that foam, because it is already wet, then you're gonna see some water kind of drip out of it. Not a problem at all. Just work on a surface where you don't mind that happening, and you're good to go, okay? One of the things I love about this kind of arrangement is that it's sort of, you know, it plays with all those sensibilities that we have of, oh gosh, that's going to tip over because there's all this weight that's, you know, out on the outside of the glass. But as you'll notice, and probably from up top there you can tell, this is a really thick, heavy piece of glass too. So it's capable of really being very stable with a lot of weight over on the side. Let's get a little bit of this Italian ruscus in there. Just to cover up some of those mechanics. And again, because I knew that there were going to be a lot of stems in here, that's part of the reason for that chicken wire on there. What we're going to end up doing with this is we're going to put water inside the vase. A couple of reasons for that. One is it's going to be decorative, it's going to be pretty, and people are going to go ooh ah when they see that. Number two is that actually provides more weight on the inside of this container, so that weight is actually going to help counterbalance the weight of this arrangement that's hanging on the outside. Okay? I wish I could tell you where I first saw this design style and this little trick for the hot glue and the duct tape. but it was at an educational program I was at years ago. And honestly, I have learned so much at those kind of programs through the years. So if you find that those are available in your area, please go to them, because the people that put on those programs are probably either wholesalers or people in the industry. And secondly, the people that are doing the programs are teaching you tricks and tips that they have learned over many years in the business. So it's a great, great opportunity. This spray rose, again, is one of those, I'm not sure of the variety name, but I love how it has just a little bit of sort of a lavender color to it. It's not quite pink. It's a little more, got a little more blue in the color, so it really works nicely to kind of blend these pinks and purples in this arrangement. One thing I think is so fun about this is that you really can kind of push the line element with this arrangement. Like that Gerber and that stock shooting way above, I mean, that's what, 14, 15 inches above the level of the container. Really, really pretty cool. Now, yes, in full disclosure, can you see the mechanics on the inside of the vase? Yes, you can. So if you're not putting something in the vase, you can cover that with moss. You know, use some sticky dots and cover it with moss. We're gonna put water in there and float candles in this for a party. So I think that it will be fine. It'll be good enough, won't it, Jason? The daisy in this case is acting more like a filler, actually. We've got the foreign flowers with the tulips and the Gerber daisies. These regular daisies, as it were, are almost kind of acting as a filler. Okay, how are we looking? Good? All right, and then I want to do one more thing with some grass just to kind of give it some movement and really make this fun. I'm going to take a little Coe pick, which is a little wooden pick. I'm going to take a piece of thin, probably 22, 24 gauge wire, just wrap it around that the grass and the stick so that it's held in place. I'm going to trim that stick off because I don't need a ton of length for this. Okay. I'm going to use the rest of that with some more grass. Again, this is for a party or an event. So we're not super concerned that this is going to last for days on end. This is kind of a short-lived arrangement. So we have a small water source with this little bit of foam that we're using. And like this grass element is just going to be for fun. It's not something that I have to make sure is going to be hydrated and stay good for days. So I think that's looking pretty good. I can still see some little bits of foam, so I'm gonna, because Laura's gonna fuss at me tomorrow if I don't do this. So let's get some extra Florida ruscus in there to kind of cover up those little bits. You could also use moss for that too, if you're not into the whole greenery thing, or if that doesn't work with your design. Moss is a great way to cover up mechanics. And that water is going to continue to drip for a little bit. So if you're making this on the morning of your party, it will have time to completely drip. Then stash it in your garage or someplace that's cool until you're ready to put it out on your table. Let's get some water in there. The level of the water on this is somewhat important, because I want to make sure that these candles that are floating in here are up high enough so that the heat source that's down where the candles are is not too close to the glassware, but also doesn't impact the flowers either. So, all right, so I've chosen a little bit smaller floating candle for this. I think it's going to work fine. I kind of wanted more multiples. I wanted more blooms, I'm sorry, more flames. There we go. So that's what the back looks like. You definitely can see a little bit of that mechanic in there. I'm not too worried about that. You could use an aspidistra leaf or something attached to the inside of the vase. But beautiful presentation for a party, for your guests. And I love the fact that the flowers are all on the outside of the vase, which I think is so completely unexpected. And that's part of the fun. So I hope you'll give this a whirl. Get yourself some pan glue. Try this. It's a great experiment in doing floral design that's a little more different and unique. Also, get yourself some rice whiskey from JT Meleck. If you have to drive to Louisiana, be sure and stop in New Orleans. It's a great time. Thank you so much for joining. Please remember to subscribe and to like our videos. It's a great way to help support us. Until next time, cheers to you and to flowers every day. Thanks for joining.